Long before history was written in stone or ink, the Greeks told stories to explain the world they feared and admired. These were not tales meant to be proven. They were meant to be felt. And among them is a story not of war or conquest, but of curiosity, defiance, and the quiet danger of looking too closely at the truth. It is the story of Orpheus. Orpheus was said to be born with a gift unlike any other. Where most men carried swords, he carried a lyre. Where others shouted, he sang. His music was not merely beautiful, it was transformative. When Orpheus played, wild animals lay down beside one another. Trees bent their branches to listen. Rivers slowed their flow, as if reluctant to interrupt the sound. The Greeks believed music came from the gods, but Orpheus seemed to live somewhere between mortal and divine. His melodies did not command, they persuaded. They reminded the world of harmony it had forgotten. It was this gift that drew Eurydice to him. Eurydice was not a princess or a goddess. She was remembered because she was loved. Their union was brief, fragile, and radiant in the way only happiness that knows it will not last can be. And then, as Greek myths so often insist, it was taken away. One day, while walking through tall grass, Eurydice was bitten by a serpent. The story does not linger on pain. It moves swiftly, as death often does. She fell, and the world lost its balance. Orpheus did not rage. He did not curse the gods. He did something far more dangerous. He followed her. No living soul was meant to enter the underworld and return unchanged. The path downward was silent and long, winding past shadows that no longer remembered their names. Yet Orpheus walked it, lyre in hand, playing not to conquer death, but to speak to it. At the gates of the underworld, even Cerberus, the three-headed guardian beast, lay still. The Furies ceased their punishments. And when Orpheus stood before Hades and Persephone, rulers of the dead, he did not beg. He played. His music did not demand Eurydice's return. It reminded the gods of love, of loss, of the ache even immortals could not escape. And for the first time in myth, the underworld listened. Hades agreed to release Eurydice on one condition. Orpheus would lead her back to the living world. She would follow behind him. And until they reached the surface, he must not look back. The condition was simple. That was its cruelty. As they walked upward, silence returned. Orpheus could not hear her footsteps. He could not feel her breath. Only the memory of her guided him. Each step became heavier than the last. Doubt crept in not loudly, but gently. What if the gods had deceived him? What if she was already gone? Just before reaching the light, Orpheus turned. For a moment he saw her. And then Eurydice faded, reaching out not in anger, but in sorrow. She did not scream. She did not accuse. She simply vanished, returning to the place from which no song could summon her again. Orpheus had broken the rule not out of defiance, but love. He returned to the world alone. From that day on, Orpheus played only songs of mourning. He rejected companionship. He turned away from joy. His music grew quieter, heavier, as if every note carried memory rather than hope. Some myths say he was torn apart by followers of Dionysus. Others say his lyre was placed among the stars. The Greeks never settled on one ending, because the ending was never the point. The story of Orpheus was not meant to teach obedience. It was meant to ask a question. What would you risk to hold on to love? And how much faith does hope require when proof is denied? In Greek mythology, knowledge always carries a cost. Orpheus did not fail because he was weak. He failed because he was human, and perhaps that is why his story endured. Because even today, when we look back hoping to reclaim what is already lost, we understand him perfectly. Like and subscribe to come back to our History channel, where history, philosophy, and Greek mythology meet.